Some people eat whatever they want and stay skinny. Others gain weight just by looking at a donut. Maybe you're the smallest one in the room. Maybe you're the one who fills the doorway. You've spent years thinking your body got the recipe wrong. It didn't. You were handed an engine built for a world that's long gone, cold winters, hunts that lasted all day, and it gave you an unfair advantage. Something your body does better than almost everyone around you, for free. Most people never find out which engine they got. Starting with the one that came with built-in air conditioning. Ectomorph, the Radiator. You're long and lean, arms and legs that go on forever, narrow shoulders, thin wrists you can wrap 2 fingers around. You can eat an entire pizza, and the scale just shrugs. If your body were a candle, it'd be the tall, skinny one that never seems to burn down. Here's the engine you were handed. You dump heat like a radiator. Long and lean means you've got more skin for your size, and skin is where heat escapes. So, when the sun is punishing and everyone around you is red-faced and cooking, you're still running cool. Your ancestors could chase an animal across open ground in the middle of the day, long after a bulkier body would have overheated and quit, which leads to the second gift, and it's the big one. You aren't built to outmuscle things. You're built to outlast them. Those long, light legs are cheap to swing, like a bike stuck in an easy gear that can pedal for hours. And it turns out, humans are some of the best distance runners on the whole planet. Not the fastest, the longest. Here's what scientists think your ancestors did with it. Picture one of them on a hot, open plain, chasing an animal that's faster than he is. He can't win a sprint, so he doesn't try one. He just keeps coming. The animal bolts, then has to stop and cool down, because a 4-legged animal can't pant and run flat out at the same time. The human can't be stopped that way. He's sweating the whole time, dumping heat with every stride, never slowing. An hour later, the animal drops from the heat. He walks up and finishes it. No weapon needed, just a body that would not quit. And you bend where other people break. Loose, roomy joints let you reach and twist into places that would put someone else in a brace. Now the catch. Because every engine has one. Muscle slides off you almost as fast as you put it on. Your fuel tank runs small so you fade when food's scarce, and you feel the cold before anyone else in the room. Those bendy joints? They wobble too. More sprains, more wear over time. The body built to last a long day isn't built to win a short brawl. Speaking of winning the brawl, the next engine was made for exactly that. Mesomorph, the turbo. Throw a punch, jump for a rebound, shove a stalled car. If your body answers with a kind of instant, effortless force, the room turning to look, you're running a turbo. You'll know the frame in the mirror. Shoulders wider than your hips, a natural V-shape, muscle that shows up after barely any work and decides to stay. The build strangers call naturally athletic, usually while you're doing nothing athletic at all. Your unfair advantage is explosion. When you need force, your body delivers all of it at once. The standing jump, the first step, the swing that ends things early. Where the Radiator wins slow, you win right now. The ancestors with this build were the ones who brought down big animals and settled fights before they turned into wars. Where does that come from? 2 things, and they're both ancient. First, your muscles are packed with fast twitch fibers, the kind built for right now instead of all day. They fire hard, fast, and short, more like a match than a slow-burning log. Second, you carry a weapon no other animal on Earth has, a throwing arm. And this one is strange. A chimp is stronger than you, pound for pound, but even a trained one can only throw a ball about 20 miles an hour. A 12-year-old kid beats that without trying. A grown pitcher throws over 90. How? Your shoulder is a slingshot. Cock your arm back and you stretch the tendons across it tight, then let all that stored energy snap forward at once. It's the single fastest motion the human body can make. Your ancestors used it to drop prey from a safe distance, before it even knew they were near. You use it to throw a fastball, same engine, and your muscle actually listens. Put in the same hour as everyone else, and you walk out with more to show for it. The engine was practically waiting for someone to turn the key. The bill for all that power is fuel. A bigger engine drinks more. This body needs feeding, and it runs down fast when the plate's empty. There's one more honest thing, and it's true of this engine alone. It's the one you can partly build yourself. The rest you're mostly born with. This one rewards the work, which is a good place to land. Except the next body was never trying to win the race at all. It was trying to survive the winter. Endomorph. The Reservoir. Let's clear something up first, because this is the body the modern world is meanest to. If you're the one who gains weight easily, softer edges, a wider middle, a frame that feels built solid instead of sharp, you've been told your whole life that your body is a problem to fix. It isn't. It's a survivor's build, and it's the reason your family line is still here. You're a furnace with a full tank. Your body is brilliant at two jobs at once, storing fuel and holding heat inside. Picture the ancestor who walked into a long, brutal winter with the food already gone. The lean bodies burned through their reserves and struggled. This one didn't. It carried its own supply and its own warmth, and it walked out the other side. There's real strength packed in there, too. Not the flashy, explosive kind, but the deep, heavy, grounded kind. It's why this build rules the far end of wrestling and strongman, where the whole job is to move something huge and refuse to be moved yourself. And here's one nobody expects. This body floats, and it stays warm. Fat is lighter than water, so it holds you up and keeps you riding high instead of fighting to stay afloat. Fat is also insulation, the same stuff that keeps a seal alive under the ice. Drop the reservoir into cold, open water and it lasts while leaner bodies go numb and climb out. This isn't a guess. The swimmers who cross freezing open sea for hours actually try to gain fat before they go. They're building the exact wetsuit you were born wearing. Here's the twist, and it's the saddest one you'll hear today. That engine was tuned for a world of not enough, long winters, empty seasons. Then, in a blink of history, the world flipped to too much. Food on every corner, heat in every wall. The exact setting that made this body a champion for 100,000 years is the one it now has to push against every single day. Your body didn't break. Its world changed underneath it. By now, a lot of you have found yourself in one of these three. So do me a favor before we go further. Tell me in the comments which engine is yours. I actually read them. Especially tell me if I nailed it. Or if you're sitting there a little insulted, because those three engines are only half the story. Small frame. The compact. Those three engines were all about the shape of your body. Here's the second half nobody talks about. Your size. Not fat, not muscle. Bone. The frame you were built on. And it splits everyone into two more engines, starting with the small one. Meet the compact. Fine bones, narrow wrists and ankles, short and light. The person who slips through the gap in a crowd everyone else has to shove through. It was built by heat. Warm places made smaller bodies on purpose, because a small body sheds warmth fast and sips resources slow. That old bargain left the compact with three advantages nobody gives it credit for. The first is efficiency. A small body needs less food, less water, and less air just to keep running. When the land goes thin and everyone else is rationing, the compact is barely touching the tank. Picture a scooter and a truck pulling into the same gas station. In a hungry world, needing less isn't a weakness. It's how you outlast the ones who need more. The second is control. You sit low to the ground, and low means steady. A low center of weight lets you stop, cut, and switch direction before a taller body has even started to lean. And short arms and legs are short levers, so they swing faster. It's the reason the quickest, most agile athletes alive, the gymnasts and the flyweights, are almost never the tall ones. The compact doesn't win by overpowering you. It wins by being somewhere else before you get there. The third one breaks people's brains a little, pound for pound. The compact is the strongest build there is. Think of an ant that hauls dozens of times its own weight, next to an elephant that can't lift even one. Smaller means stronger for your size, every single time. It's why the best rock climbers and gymnasts alive are almost always small. Their arms aren't bigger. There's just far less body for those arms to move. When the weight you're fighting is your own, being light is the cheat code. The trade is raw size itself. Less absolute strength, shorter reach, less weight to throw, and a smaller furnace when the cold sets in. Push the compact in a shoving match and it gets moved. Put it in a chase through tight ground and it's already gone. Its exact opposite is the last engine, and it's the one you feel before you see. Large frame. The freight. You feel this one walk into a room. The freight is the big framed build. Heavy bones, broad shoulders, long reach. The frame that blocks the light in a doorway. Where the compact wins by needing less, the freight wins by simply being more. And it was carved by cold. This part is worth stopping on. For 700,000 years, every time the planet froze, humans grew bigger and stronger. And every time it warmed, we shrank leaner. Your frame is a photograph of the weather your ancestors lived through. Read that again. The size of your bones is a snapshot of a climate you never once stood in. That frozen history handed the freight its first advantage: heat. A big body has more warmth stored inside for every inch of skin, so it loses that warmth slowly, and the cold reaches it last. When the temperature falls off a cliff and everyone else is shaking, the freight is the one still standing there fine. It's the whole reason the coldest corners of the map grew the largest people. Its second advantage barely has to be used, because size settles things before they start. Start with reach. Long arms and legs mean you land on them before they can land on you. They're still swinging at air while your fist is already home. And a long arm is a long lever, so there's more weight behind everything it throws. Add that bigger bones anchor bigger muscles, and you're carrying the most raw force on this whole list. But most of the time, none of it gets used because rivals do the math and back down. There's a reason a room quietly parts for the biggest body in it, and nobody decides to move. The bill comes due in upkeep. This engine burns extra fuel just to exist, overheats the second the weather turns warm, and carries a weight its own knees and hips have to answer for over the years. Power on this scale never runs free. So, which engine did you get? Maybe one of them was clearly you. Maybe you saw yourself in two, which is how most people come out. Either way, here's the part that matters most. None of it is a cage. An engine is a starting line, not a sentence. Bodies change with the life you run through them. The food, the work, the years. What you were born with only tells you where the line starts, not where it ends. So the next time someone points at your body like it's a mistake, you'll know the thing they don't. That flaw was a tool. It kept somebody alive long enough for you to be standing here. I am Noah, and I'll see you in the next video.